December 7th?
Yes. That's a look.
Oh, because I was thinking, yeah, Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th.
Oh.
That kind of rings in my head. But December 7th, and we're just weeks away from Christmas. How many more shows? We're not going to do a show. Did we lose it? Did we lose it?
Oh, we're on. I just don't see the chat.
Oh, well,
okay.
You'll figure it out.
Okay.
We're distracted. Let's see what's going on.
So, yeah, December 7th. We should mention, I think we have, and we'll mention it again during the show. We're closed between Christmas and New Year's. So we're open till noon on Christmas Eve, and then we're open the Tuesday after the New Year. So this gives everybody family time. And between Christmas and New Year's, we will not be doing a show. How's that?
We can sleep in. Everyone can sleep in.
On Wednesday. But people will be doing things with their families and stuff. But we just thought we'd give everybody a heads up on that. And just a reminder that we are closed Sunday and Mondays. And just with people coming to pick up their stockings and stuff like that, we just like to remind you that we're not open Mondays, and we don't want you making the trip to Tillsonburg and being disappointed. So, is anybody chatting?
Oh, yeah.
We're just...
I don't know why it's not coming up, but I see it on my phone. So.
Okay, so if there's anything there, Arlene, that you think we should know about as you write names down, because you have to write names down off that, please let us know.
It's Wednesday morning. Anything could happen, right?
Yeah. You know, those little elves, they're kind of mischievous. So, here we are, Wednesday, Tillsonburg. Do you know, I just wore like this blouse and my jean jacket. No winter coat. December 7th, I have bare feet in my shoes.
Oh my goodness.
I have not put sandals on, but I have bare feet in my shoes. And it's going to be 48 degrees Fahrenheit today. That is pretty darn nice for December 7th. So I'm thinking this is a great day to get out and get around, because the roads are nice and clear. Pavement's dry. We can do things we want. And the forecast the rest of this week looks pretty good for that. So anybody who's out Christmas shopping or picking up stuff in my stocking, this is a good time.
Although everyone will be waiting for that white day on Christmas, right?
Yes,
so
of course we will. Now, you have some door prizes, Miss Tammy.
We do. We have a little cleaning cloth, a microfiber cleaning cloth. It's got a little sewing machine on it. It says Joy, and then
these are great for your glasses or your iPads or your iPhones.
Yeah, or your screens on your computer, and then the sewing bandages. So that's together. Then I have 8 Christmas fat quarters. They're sparkly gold sparkle. There's green, black.
They match your shirt almost. I should have put the blue in there instead of the black.
Kind of do, yeah. So we'll have those.
That is a very nice shirt, too.
Thank you. Do you remember what the name of the line was?
Sparkle.
Sparkle. Well, there
Holiday.
You go.
Oh no, Holiday Sparkle.
Well, look at the red with
you. Holiday Sparkle.
And then we have a layer cake, Rejoice. That's 42 pieces. Put your name in with a comment, and Arlene's looking on her phone.
She's madly writing names down off her phone instead of off the screen.
And then if you want something that you see today, Cynthia at cherishedpieces.com, or Tammy, Tami at cherishedpieces.com. And we're finishing up with our shipping, our Stuff My Stocking, and a lot of bags have been picked up.
And there's some to go yet. So if you have a bag, please, call and let us know if you want it mailed or if you're going to be picking it up, and arrange for payment. We'd like all these things paid for here by the end of next week would be ideal. And I can't believe you didn't wear these today. So next week the pressure is going to be on.
Oh,
Tammy.
really?
Yeah.
Sounds
they're
like
kind of like little fluffy tatas there.
Are they like pom poms? You should be getting out and doing some sort of cheer.
Yeah.
Well, let's see that.
Yeah, we could come up with some other fun things for them. Hang them off the glasses.
They're very dangly.
Yeah, they are. I don't have a particularly long neck, so they're sitting on my shoulder. They kind of look silly.
They're dusting your shoulders?
Yeah, they're kind of silly, but they're sparkly.
They are sparkly.
And we do like to entertain. We like to entertain you
while you're having your breakfast.
Yeah, or your tea.
That's right. So where would you like to start?
Well, were you going to start here?
All right. So yesterday we were, in the store working, and this sweet little lady comes in, Alice. You know who you are. She says she watches every Wednesday.
She is
Alice
very
Curran.
sweet.
She's like, so what are you doing? Arlene and I were standing there talking, and she's like, are you getting ready for the show? I'm like, yes, we are. You got any ideas? And so she's like, yes, I'd like to see the 10 Sisters. It's like, where did I leave it? It's an interfacing panel that she'd seen around. I know it's not going to look like anything on your screen, but it's a lightweight interfacing panel that has a grid on it with squares marked out. And I don't think you're going to be able to see that. So I'm going to get ready for my demo. No, you won't be able to see. It's very light. But I have some other ones. I don't know if any one of them will show up. Yeah, that one. So you can see that there's lines, dotted lines, and then the little X's in the corners for your squares.
Now, it should be noted that why you can't see this so clear is because it's just one sheet. And if this is on your fabric, you can see it clearly. We're just trying to show you. You wouldn't have a problem seeing it if you were going to be working with it.
That's right. It's just hard to show you when it's just a single layer. Okay, so I'm going to get organized here. I'll do that at the end.
Tammy and organized, those two words go together. Because
Well,
Tammy,
try.
you are very organized.
Okay, so you have your sheet. It comes in panels. There's different sizes. And I have one sheet here. So on the one side, it's got the little textured bubbles, which means that's the fusible side. It's just fusible on the one side, and the other side is just flat. So you lay it out, and this one, the size of squares that you need is 2.5 inches. So it could be like a little mini charm pack, or you can cut your strips on your go, and then cut them into 2.5-inch squares. But that's what you need for this size panel.
Or you could use this sweet little ruler, if you happen to have our cute little ruler.
Right.
Because that's 2.5 inches wide. You could subcut your strips.
So what you're doing, the iron's going.
Yes, it's ready.
Okay, so you're going to, within the little grid, there's the little markings on the corner. You're going to place your little square in the center. And if you want, it helps if you do like a little dab with a glue stick, just because sometimes things move around.
Before you get a chance to iron them.
Yeah, and then as soon as you pick something up, then you're, everything's moving, right?
What was that? Ah!
That's a frustrated...
I like the sound effects, Tammy.
So I'm just going to do a couple. Put that down. And then you grab your iron, and you're not going to like slide when you're ironing. You're going to just place and hold. Oh, and the other thing you want to know is you want a Teflon sheet, because when you're ironing, or your iron gets close to this, it's going to stick to the bottom of your iron, and you don't want to mess that up. So wherever you've got your squares, you would just hold and iron for a bit.
And this is where this portable iron comes in so handy for projects like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
No cord to worry about. And we have those, of course, in stock. Very nice Christmas present.
All right. So I've got mine anchored down. So you would do that for your whole... Oh, I should have moved over. You want to fill your whole grid with all your little squares. And so when you're done that, I'll show you the next step. So now you have your lines, you're done, you're ready to sew. You're going to take it and fold it over, right sides together, and you kind of naturally get like this crease because of the gap in between the squares. You're going to take that to your sewing machine, and you can sew your 1/4 inch all the way down. You're going to go across your panel doing all the rows, and I'll just show you. So this one I've sewn. You can see the line. So when you open it up, your squares are lining up. You're still going to have like the raw edges going this way, but that's okay. You're going to come back and take care of those. So you would sew your lines across the whole thing, and then you can snip open the, if you want your seams open, some people like to do that because of less bulk. I always trim off the little corners, and then you get your scissors in there. Oh, if I can do that.
That's because we're watching.
That's right. And you would just go along and you snip it. Now if you don't want to do that, you can also just snip into where the little squares butt up, so you have like the little cut. because that'll help you later when you're going the opposite way so that you can nest your seams. So you have kind of a choice if you want to iron open your seams or if you just want to snip and then nest later. But you can see how...
And nesting makes such a difference.
Well, it just makes sure that your corners are together, right? So you've done that. You've cut them open. So then on your next step would be you're going to fold the long way over. And you can see I've got my little seams. You're going to do your 1/4 inch. And then when you flip it over, there's your little seams that you would press open. And again, you just want to do a little bit. You don't need to hold it there forever. You don't want to burn your fingers. And then I like to, like when I'm done, give it a good press from the top. You might want to use steam just to set it. And then the idea with this is why people like to use this is that your piecing is accurate. You'll notice like when we put our squares on the panel itself, it looks kind of wonky, you know. You're not quite sure how that's going to work out. But by the time you've got it sewn together, your squares are lining up. You've got a very accurate piece. It's kind of like when they're using the fangles.
Yes.
Kind of that idea about for your squares. So there is different sizes. And like I said, it comes in panels. So you got to know what your finished size will be. So this is, you would use 2-inch squares fit in here. And then with your seam allowances, it finishes at 1.5. And so a panel for that size is $7.50. And then there's the one that I was using. You need 2.5-inch squares, and it finishes at 2 inches, also $7.50
for a panel.
For a panel.
And a panel is about a yard.
A panel is about a yard. This one is a bigger chunk, so if you were doing like a wider section, this one's by Quilt Smart. It's not by Ten Sisters. There are some other companies who have these as well. What was that bag that people used to make?
Mondo.
The Mondo bag.
Yes,
so
we can get those. We can get those patterns with that in too.
Yes.
Because it includes the grid with the pattern.
Right. So this one is $5.25 a yard. It's a little wider. And then this one is also wider. It's the 2-inch cut squares and then finish 1.5 for $6 a panel.
And sometimes people like to do color wash quilts with these.
There is also one that's on point, if you're doing something interesting that way. And it also uses 2-inch squares finished at 1.5, and that's $4.50 a panel. There are a few books that the Ten Sisters have put out, and we have a couple of them. There's the Quilts for Kids, and then just the 10 Sisters, and the 7 Brothers Block Party.
Now there's some lovely quilts in there. Should we show them a couple of examples?
Yeah, this one, we were looking at this one yesterday. This is for the kids, for like a baby. They just had some, where was the one that we were looking at? Like, you know, the little owl. So it's done in sections. It's not one big thing. You would do one section and then sew it together. So you could work on it piece by piece. There was a fox, hedgehog, giraffe.
The thing is, you don't have to use the grids. It's helpful, but you could cut your squares and sew them together.
So it's just another method that they've found that they really liked. Cynthia, you did one of these once.
I did. It was a trip around the world.
Or a Boston Commons.
Boston Commons,
yes.
Yeah. It was
So those books are available. Give you some ideas. If you've been wanting to try it out, it'd be a fun way to do that.
Yeah. Well, Tammy, thank you. Nice demo.
We did have a few questions. The price of the iron
is $169.
We should probably come back up, right?
Yeah.
And any other questions?
They were just asking prices on panels, but you went over that, so.
Well,
Okay.
Tammy went over that beautifully. And it really helps to.
I have like the wool mat, and we have some of those in stock.
Yeah,
So-
Teflon sheets.
And the Teflon sheets, yeah, that's one thing for sure. It's always good to have a Teflon sheet, even if you don't do a lot of applique, just for like working with fusibles. I know I've saved my iron many times, and sometimes I think, oh, it won't be a big deal. Yeah, it is.
Well, yeah, applique. I know my Teflon sheet is always in my go bag if I'm going somewhere to sew. what shall we do next?
Maybe your stocking stuffers or some
Do
of
you
the
know,
little gadgets?
this is Cheryl's basket of stocking stuffers that she put together. We were talking about ideas, and she said, why don't I put a basket together for people to look at?
So it's been on our pre-cut table, so we thought we'd bring it out and give you some ideas. Maybe you're still thinking about what to get. We wanted to make sure that you knew that the binding ease that we showed a couple weeks ago is back in, and that would be a great stocking stuffer.
Yeah, so it's in a different color, but it's just a great tool. And now that there's enough of them, there's one going home with me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
The other thing too, like the color's bright. You shouldn't lose it in your sewing room, right?
No, and that's important. I think about that when I'm, I was thinking about coolers and things, like an ice cooler. If you're buying somebody one, instead of buying it like a sand or a desert color or whatever, to buy something bright so it doesn't get left behind. Anyway, I like bright things like that.
There's a little mini gripper by the Gypsy Quilter. It's $9.99 for your smaller rulers.
And for squares, if you're squaring up sometimes, with your square, it'll hold it in place. Like if it's too small for your big Gypsy gripper.
There's a little Jim Shore notebook. I like to have a little notebook beside my sewing machine, so if I need to make some notes about certain project or applique with settings I have.
Yep, some of your stitch widths.
It's a great little thing to do. There's a little Hold It Precision stiletto. It's $19.95. It's all silicone, so you're not going to wreck it if you get.
And that would have been great to be holding when you were pressing. When you were just pressing along there, that would have been good. You know how you said, "Oh, I don't want to burn my fingers." You could have been using that.
You could have. What else is in there?
Well, you just go ahead. You're doing a great job. We have some cute little clips.
The Wonder Clips, $9.75. We have some of the friction pens that people still like to use. Like we always say, try it on your fabric, and you decide how cautious you want to be. But they're $5.50 each. People really love using them.
I know people do love using them. Me personally, I'm terrified of them. But I only brought them in because our customers have asked.
There's these little snips that are $5.75. They have a nice little cover. Also good to have beside your sewing machine for a quick little snip.
And it's kind of one of those things that would be a good thing to take away, like if you're going to a class or a retreat, because we have our really good expensive scissors. Darn, we hate to lose those. I don't mind losing a pair that's $5.75 as opposed to $28. I think there's others that might feel the same way.
As always, a little stitch ripper. This one has the little rubber grips on the end. I think it's $3.50. It's by Seam Fix. And you always need some needles.
Needles are always a great gift.
You never have too many because we need to replace them way more often than we do, probably. There's also a quilt builder card deck. You have a little fun building some different blocks. There's 40 blocks in there, 8 new layouts, lots of possibilities. This is set number 2 for $22. And there's a seam ripper. It's by a Gypsy Quilter. It's more like a razor style almost. So if you really got to go to town. And that one's $7.
I've never had to go to town, have you?
Yes, yes I have.
I'm just being silly because I think we all have.
Yeah, that's when you know it's time to turn off the sewing machine.
I know. I bring that up and sit in my chair and reverse.
So there is $7.50 for this little Clover stitch ripper, and this one is very sharp.
This is a really good one, and it's a great price for the for the quality of that ripper. That's got to be my really favorite.
And then of course thread. That's Aurifil, $18.35 a spool. It's always good to have good thread. There's a little 3" by 12" Quilter Select ruler for when you're cutting your small pieces, maybe you're paper piecing, cutting the little squares that I was talking about. And this is the one that doesn't move when you put it down on your fabric. It has that coating on the back that grips it. And that's $34. Oh, there's more needles.
And I remember we have some of the needles that are the non-stick. So if you were doing a project in sewing that had a lot of fusible in it, we have the non-stick Schmetz needles, and that makes a difference.
There's also some books. Sometimes we like certain books, but we're too cheap, I'm going to say, to buy them for ourselves. So that they're always a nice gift. Dear Jen by Jen Kingwell. She's well known. And then there's like magazine style without ads for $13. These Annie's quilting books.
They're great books.
They've got, good pictures, everything you need. And like, it's way better than getting a magazine at the grocery store.
Well, and you know, I mean, those books are cheaper than a pattern.
They are.
And you have several patterns, and I think they show on the back all the different patterns, so you can have a quick glance.
But we have quite a variety too. These aren't the only ones. We
Absolutely.
just brought a couple.
Yeah.
So
Let's
that's
load
our-
that little basket back up.
Well, it won't be as pretty as when it was in there.
Should we show them some fabric? We have
Do-
something called acid wash.
We do have a quick question. There's a few ladies asking if we sell the Teflon sheets and if we remember the price.
We do sell them, I believe. I don't remember the price. It's
They're
been a bit.
reasonable.
Yeah.
They're reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can assure you certainly that they're reasonably priced.
So we should start, acid wash, because I think on the gray one, it reminds me more of like the jeans, you know, the 80s jeans. But then we've got the fun colors to go with it. So those are acid washed by Figo,
Which is a division of Northcott, yep.
And they're $14 a yard. So you've got that gray, this bright grass green, I would say. And this purple. And
This is more of a
blue.
charcoal.
So those are fun.
And they're calling this one jade.
Jaded. This is really weird not being able to see comments.
I know.
I know.
I
We
feel like
miss
we're
you.
flying blind.
You know, remember we were so like, oh, we didn't, you know, at the beginning, you know, people watching us and stuff, and now we're like, oh yeah, but we miss you. We want to see who's there today.
Let's see what the questions are, or the comments, or who's laughing.
Here, pass these back to me so that you have some room, and then maybe you could show these things while I put those.
Oops, these are also little things that came in. The little tape measure and these little cat scissors.
And they're by
You can see.
Bowen, which is a great French company.
Yeah.
They're known for their quality. Bowen needles and
Cute little
Bowen
scissors.
notions are always great.
Those would be a fun stocking stuffer.
Yeah, hold them up so they can see that cute little cat face. Can you turn it? Yeah. I meant Mike. Oh, you know, I'm sort of a dyslexic here. How do I get there?
It's hard to see.
It is hard to see, but it's
You'll
a
have to
cute
come in
face.
and see them in person.
Cute face. Cute face for my cat people.
And then we had a couple of books.
Yes, this is a great book, and we've been asked for this one.
This is Simply Half Yards by It's So Emma. And somebody requested it, but I know that I've looked at it online a few times. She's just got really good patterns, good instructions. You could have a lot of fun with that, different colorways.
It's just great for half yards, and I mean, fun inspirations.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and guess what? I don't have a price.
Let's see if this one does. I'm thinking it's $28
Okay.
on this one. Because I have 3
$28
copies.
if you'd like those. Want to show some white bags?
Sure, let's do that.
So that is Bee Plaid by Lori Holt, and it's $27 a yard.
And they, unfortunately, it was very late for some of these. They had some problems at their mill getting them, and it's just this whole supply chain thing. But great Lori Holt backings.
This one's Prairie. Oh, there's another one. Bee Plaids.
And I will say that I see that Calico, the new line, has just shipped too.
All right,
It's
so
just shipping, so we should see that in a week or two. Before Christmas, anyway.
Alice Kern is asking, why is it called a half-yard book?
Oh, it's because it's using half-yard fabric. So all of the patterns in it are using half yards. So it could be 6 half yards, 4 half yards. I mean, you could decide that you want to have more variety and use fat quarters. Or fewer and use 1 yard cuts. Oh, these. Holy moly,
this
these
one's
are heavy.
pretty. Yeah, I'm going to take this.
Isn't that one
That
pretty?
one's very pretty.
And these are 27 a yard. Don't think we said that.
There's blue. It's a little bit of a paisley handkerchief style. So lots of different ideas.
Did you want to talk about the quilt behind us?
Okay. So this is the last kit that we have for this one. This was by Corey Dantini. This quilt is 54 by 68 and the kit is $59. So if you were eyeing it, we only have one more kit left and then that's gone for the year.
Yeah, because we've run out of some of the fabrics to kit more, but it's so whimsical and sweet.
This starts off with the panel in the middle, and then Arlene built these presents for the side and picked a cute border for the top and bottom.
And then we've got this nice candy cane striping here.
So that one's $59 if you'd like it, and there's nothing behind it. Oh yes, there is. Never mind. Forgot about that.
I peeked earlier, that's why I was...
We talked about this so many times yesterday, I should have remembered, right? And then we have a little more fabric, right?
Yeah, do you want to talk about that one while it's there, since it's kind of Christmas?
Is this one 22? This panel. Yeah, so this is O Canada Christmas. I believe it's 24 by 44. We still have some yardage that goes with that, but, you know, if you were still thinking about doing something with a Christmas tree, we still have those panels. And then we also have a new line of fabric that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is from Studio E, and it's called Language of Color. But look how much fun this is with the newsprint in here and the flowers. And they've kind of incorporated a bit into some of these leaves. I should say leaves, not flowers. And then there's the newsprint, solid sort of newsprint background. And then there's this one with sort of the black
with
and
the
the gray
newsprint in
and
there.
the newsprint. And then it's like, why not just be like really jazzed up?
And then there's one more piece that we have.
And this piece, and I'm just going to move this because I think this one and this one are just kind of like a toothache together, side by side. If you know what I mean. So this is like, here, you know, here's a different colorway of this. And you can just see how well the newsprint would go in, and this will work quite nicely with the line. So again, I said this was from Studio E, and it's $16 a yard.
And so on the newsprint, it's all about colors. The meaning of warm colors and their positive attributes, tertiary color, saturation. So it's
Nice words,
you know,
and
fun like that. Yeah.
and informative too.
Because sometimes people are like, what do the words say? I don't want it to be something, you know, that I don't like or I don't agree
Or that
with.
I wouldn't want my kids to read or my grandkids to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, you'll know that it's all good. It's all about color. I think this one is my favorite piece. Look at the colors.
Isn't that fun? I like it a lot.
And you could still, like, pick out tons of solids
Because
and prints to go
but
with
look at
it.
the flexibility of this, you know, when we roll it out here. Oops, sorry if that was hard on your eyes. But I mean, because you could cut it this way, you could cut it up this way. Yeah,
You
there's
could use it as a border print, even though I don't know that I would.
you could use it as a focal,
Yeah.
you know, and treat it as a panel and build around it.
It's called the language of color.
I like it.
Right.
So Arlene, is it getting to be, do we have any other questions before we,
One question was, how wide is the wide back? So
they're all 180 inches.
108.
And just a reminder that we're going to be closed between Christmas and New Year's. We're open Christmas Eve regular hours, up to Christmas Eve regular hours, and we're open till noon on Christmas Eve. And then we'll be back January 2nd, 3rd, I think is the Tuesday. So then back to normal on the Tuesday. We do still have some openings in our January retreat, which is January 15, 16, and 17 at the Elmers. So if that's of interest to you, let us know. And I think I've mentioned that we added one more retreat for April because we didn't have anything left for spring. And what else? Just that we've got your stuff, my stocking bags and envelopes here. If you haven't picked those up, give us a call. Let us know if you want them mailed or you'll be picking them up and arrange for payment.
If we haven't already contacted you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Don't worry about it if we've already spoken to you. Okay, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll do the little cloth and the band-aids first.
Cindy Taylor.
Cindy Taylor, congratulations.
Excellent.
And the little fat quarter bundle.
Barb Christensen.
Barb Christensen.
Congratulations. And then the Rejoice layer cake.
Is Kathy Conway.
Kathy Conway, congratulations.
Yeah, I think Kathy's in New Brunswick.
Yeah, so I guess I'm mailing it to you, Kathy, unless you're coming here for a visit. But yeah, you can let me know if you're going to stop in and pick it up, or I'll be happy to mail it to you as well.
And Arlene, thank you very much for, you know, working with us and writing all these numbers down off your phone, trying to write all these names down and keep track of that and questions. So thank you for doing that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
All right, have a great week. Get some
enjoy your
Christmas shopping done.
shopping and
Yeah.
preparations and cooking and
Bake some cookies.
bake some cookies. Sounds good. Okay. Thanks. See you next week.